listening to the episode of Formscan on IrishRacing.com. We're here to preview day 4 and 5 of Punchestown, the Friday and the Saturday. We'll have a quick look at the Guineas as well at the end, the 2,000 and 1,000 Guineas. So, busy, kind of hopefully half hour ahead, and I'm delighted to be joined by Donn McClean to preview the action coming up. Donn, a great few days so far at Punchestown, and plenty to look forward to the last two as well.
Yeah, look, what a meeting, Emma. It's brilliant. Like the atmosphere has been fantastic so far, and great to see Fast and Slow yesterday. Great to see Banbridge getting up. Like, what a ride by JJ7 and Banbridge, and then it's obviously a great ride again by Emma Fast and Slow, but a different type of ride. Great to see Jimmy Mangan get his good one with a Punchestown Saturday. He could be anything. He's only a 6-year-old, so to get another great one stepping up in trip. And then there's also the undercurrent of the Jack Kennedy versus Paul Tarda Jockey's Championship, now down to 5. Actually, it's down to 5. Paul had a winner on the first day, winner on the second day. So going to run all the way to the week, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's kind of a pity, I suppose, Jack isn't riding on Saturday. Kind of hoping he can maintain the lead going into there and see can Paul catch up to him. But yeah, it's nice to kind of side story to tonight. I was there yesterday. It's great atmosphere in fact, like you said, and it's nice to see the grade ones getting spread around as well. Jimmy Mangan and Martin Brazil getting to share those edges from mine as well, of course. But we'll dive into Friday's action tonight because we've got plenty to talk about. And I think the first race I'll have a look at is the 4:15. It's not a handicap chase. Always a really interesting contest, and really seems to like to target this. He's won, I think, 7 of the race last year renewals. He's won the last 5. I think he could have caught him last year. I know that's had a really strong hand to play here again with this policeman topping the weight, and he's favoured in there as well. As I said before, we've got a couple more that attached to the movement as well, and few to Brazil as well down there. 10 stone 7 and Brian Hayes on his back. And Don, what's your view on this one?
Yeah, it's quite incredible the degree to which Willie Mullins dominates this race, Anna, as you said there. Like, he's won 7 of the last 8 renewals, which for what looks like it should be a really competitive handicap, it's quite a remarkable strike rate. And look, 4 of the last 5 winners have been favourite. Maybe now the short of Mr. Policeman's going to be, but they've all been favourite. But he's won it with really good horses like Kilcroft did last year. Syrian Fallon won it, Cowboy won it. And yeah, look, it's a handicap. It's a novice's handicap, but it's a race from which horses can spring and take a high rank among one of the top staying chasers of the future. And Mr. Policeman, like, he's been such a well-touted horse from early in the season. He probably hasn't quite lived up to expectations yet, but he might well do. And if he can go and win here, then it could augur well for his season next season, maybe when he steps up in trip. But he's stepping up in trip here 2.5 miles from 2 miles and 2.25 miles. But he's a very good hurdler, and you just know that he's very well regarded at home. That's kind of, it's inherent in the prices that he's been sent off in his last since he started racing, really. But he's very short. It would be at all surprising to see him going and winning well. But he's very short. I think Captain's Nephew could run well against him. He stayed on well to get the better of Bad Frisco at Fairgas the last day. And Arctic Brazil, for me, he's an interesting horse. Like, he was, again, another highly regarded horse. He actually ran in the Tallworth Hurdle at Sandown. He went over there to run the Grade 1 Hurdle as a novice hurdler when the heavy ground just seemed to be all against him. He does the form on heavy ground, but he travelled really well in the plate at Cheltenham last time, and he only just kind of faded from the run to the final fence. Maybe the soft ground was against him that day, and maybe the move to better ground that will help him. He was beaten by Mr. Policeman at Punchestown there in February, but he was only beaten 6 lengths by him, and I think he was getting £4 from him then. He's now, I think he's a stone or maybe a stone and a pound better off with Mr. Policeman for a 6-7 meeting. And he's going to be a much bigger price. But more importantly than that, I just think he's a horse from whom there could be a fair bit more to come, and the better ground could maybe unlock that latent potential. So he's about a 16 to 1 shot of thereabouts. I think he's interesting at that price.
Yeah, I can definitely see the angle into that, like you're saying, the big weight swing with Mr. Policeman. He was beaten 6 lengths that day in Punchestown, but like you said, the better ground should help him. He wears his home tie, so maybe breathing might be a slight issue on softer ground, but he'll get conditions that should suit you. You can kind of see that angle out of here to Brazil. I suppose I think Mr. Visa had been single figure odds when they met in a beginner's chase earlier in the year. Obviously, Mr. Visa didn't go on to, I think I'm going to pick single figure odds for the Aircle, sorry. Obviously, he didn't go on to those kind of heights. But should have Brazil again off level weights there, Mr. Visa, and similar to Arctic Brazil, he's getting nearly a stone and a half off from here. 14 to 1, he could be in each ratio out there for Willie Mullins to Brian Hayes as well. I give a bit of a tax to the move for Willie and Danny. Ours obviously had lots of problems. The 10-year-olds now, so the novice chase only kind of got going, but I think the form of these runs over fences has been pretty strong so far this season. He was second to Slans Tower in the Willow Warren Gold Cup, and in fairly, I was obviously to be frank this week as well, and he beat Stumping Jess quite handy in 8th the time before. She obviously went on to win the Ulster National in the Harshly last week, so I give him a shout as well. But yeah, each triangle there, Arctic Brazil and Twitter Brazil, just on weights alone, with the favourite, it was a very short price here. There's definitely lying into them, but Mr. Beeson, like you said, we didn't know wins this with good horses, and kind of he was just out earlier on the year. They're probably expecting him to win and more next year again. But that's the first race home. We went into the 4:50 now. It's Mare Chase. Again, Allegory the Vassy in here, favourite for Willie Mullins. She disappointed in this last year, winning in Impervious. In Steel, her same weight was in front of that day as well. But Bryce Hill, an interesting one riding for Gavin Cromwell, just pulled out of tell them half the ground, went against her. But against her conditions here, and could continue a nice run of form for Gavin Cromwell. What's your take on this one, Don?
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think Bryce Hill is probably going to be maybe shading favouritism just in front of Allegory the Vassy to win it, and I think that's probably right. Yeah, she was in the mix for the Meredith Chase at Cheltenham. Of course, Gavin went and won it anyway with him replaced. He didn't need it there, but it was grand, depending, was it? I think if the ground was coming up soft, it was still right lace, and if it was coming up better, it Bryce Hill. So the ground would be in her favour. She comes here fresh, and she's progressive anyway. She progressed through the winter when she got to run on better ground. She only got home by a head from Queen Jane at the Fairy House Atlas Grace Hurdle meeting in early December, but she had way more in hand than the head by which she won. I think she went clear and just seemed to idle in front, and she only just scraped home in the end. But she's a coming filly, or mare, and she goes into the race fresher than most. Like, she does have to make up 19 lengths, was it, by which Allegory the Vassy beat her at Thurles back in January last year, so a year and 3 months ago. But she's a different mare now. She's improved since then. Allegory the Vassy, I think she'll appreciate going back right-handed. I still think she's a better mare right-handed than going left, but I think Bryce Hill just maybe has more in her favour.
Yeah, I usually Bryce Hill comes in here at the fresher mare. Instead is a mare I liked as well. I think she's probably better on nicer ground and run a nice race in this, I suppose, last year behind Impervious, but she was beaten in Perth last week, I suppose, beaten by Applesway. He was in a bad mare either, and she was in front of Riviere de Tell, so probably not bad from overall, but she'll have to bounce back fairly quickly from that one. But yeah, Bryce Hill, I think, should take plenty of beating here for Gavin Cromwell, who has been on fire in the first 2 days of the Punchestown. And the next race in is the Hunter's Chase. Champion Hunter's Chase. I thought we might do this sort of skip unless you had any really strong opinions on it, Don. He's on the line, I suppose. He won this last year. He was beaten at Cheltenham, won an age straight. He'll probably take plenty of beating, but these Hunter's Chases can be a bit of a lot.
Yeah, I rarely have angles into Hunter's Chase, I have to admit. But look, it's on the line. Yeah.
He should say about a year, I suppose, for Derek to do. We've had a massive year, I suppose, so far this year. We wanted
Derek has been off the amateur riders race at Cheltenham. Farrell's off maybe on better ground. He's in Interesting Towers. I think better ground would suit him, but it's for me to watch.
Yeah, for me too. We wanted the champion rather than smaller field. Stateman reopposes Irish Twine, the 1-2 from the champion hurdle at Cheltenham. You'd imagine in these conditions, though, everything will probably be in Stateman's favour. Irish Twine probably would tend to provide the soft ground in Cheltenham. He was able to get that bit closer to the Stateman. Don, do you see any chance of an upset here? Stateman's obviously long odds on favourite.
No, I don't. And I think Punchestown will suit him better than Cheltenham. Yeah, he just seems to be a better horse. When said it, he shot out with him. He was impressive, as impressive as you would have expected him to be for a 2-5 shot in the champion hurdle, but he was never going to lose, was he? You always knew he was going to win. Irish Point ran a big race, dropping back down to 2 miles, having won over 3 and 2.5 probably his optimum trip. but as Gordon Elliott said, you can't let Stefan go and have a solo. So you can decide why he's taking him on in that race as opposed to, well, they also up to you at the Sarah's hurdle today. So yeah, you can understand why Irish Point is having another go, and it was good that he was in the champion hurdle in Constitution Hill's absence. But yeah, it's hard to construct any kind of a case to why he might reverse places, isn't it?
Yeah, I find it hard to see now. And like you said, I wouldn't mind seeing him running the stairs, but I suppose for the sake of this race, it's probably nice he runs here just to have some bit of a worry for Steve. And I suppose it would have been pretty much a concession without him. But probably won't be as clean sailing for Steve in this champion hurdle division next year in Ireland. We'll talk about the next race. Ballyburn could be won, and Loxie he probably won't have it as easy in these grade 1 2 mile hurdles in Ireland next season, but we'll wait to see on that one. But the next race we'll talk about then could be another procession, possibly Ballyburn, or it's probably the standout novice hurdler of this season. He comes back. I suppose people might be picking holes slightly in that Ballymore form now from the Punchestown Festival. Still a little bit of mine, have been beaten since. But still, Don, we kind of just beat Ross put in front of him. You can't knock him too much, I don't think.
That's exactly it. It wasn't a strong Ballymore or Barry Bingham or Gallagher as it was this year. It just wasn't as strong a Newell of the race. We know that, but that's not Ballyburn's fault. He can only do what he did, and he couldn't have been much more impressive than he was. I actually watched the race from the run to the final flight, and it was lovely to see him just picking up there, and he met the final flight well and just went on up the hill. It didn't look like a really strong race beforehand. Nothing has happened since to make it look stronger than it was. As you said, the second part of both been beaten since. So it wasn't that great a race, but Ballyburn, he's just everything that he's doing, and the way that he beat Slade Steele at Punchestown at Dublin Racing Festival, that to me that's the line of form that sets him apart. That allied to the regard in which can actually seem to hold him. So it's going to be very exciting to see what he does next year. Please God, if he stays over hurdles or goes over fences. But yeah, for now, I think we just need to watch him and appreciate it, Anna.
Yeah, for sure. And it was actually interesting with anybody comparison to the likes of the Pauline after that winning in Cheltenham. Just kind of looking forward to next season, just briefly, would you see him going novice chasing, or is champion hurdle might be a route they might take? Like, I think he's all in his relations and all staying after staying hurdlers. But it wouldn't be totally out of the blue, I suppose, would he try something different?
No, it wouldn't. And I always thought, like most of the people, chasing next year, whatever he was doing, he was going to build up towards going chasing next year. Until, was it after Cheltenham, just after Cheltenham, when they said something about Donn Run? I might have to go and try to emulate Donn Run, which would be like, you'd love to see him stay in hurdling, go and trying to win the champion hurdle, and then trying to win a Gold Cup, because, we know how one horse has done it. It's such a rare thing to do, and Willie Mullins is up for doing the rare things. He's bridged a 70-year gap between himself and Vincent O'Brien winning the British Trainers Championship. So that'll be great to see. But it would be very interesting if he stayed over hurdles. Like as you said, it would add another element to the champion hurdle picture. Mystical Power, he put his hat in the ring as well the other day too, and Constitution Hill coming back, and the current incumbents and the state lands and the Irish points. So no more than the potential Gold Cup picture for next year, like that's hotting up as well. So that's we're getting ahead of the year ahead now, but I just don't know. And I'd say Willie Mullins and Ronnie Bartlett and David Manasseh, they don't know either what they're going to do. What do you think? What way do you think he's up?
I kind of like you're saying, Willie mentioning Donn Run, like Willie doesn't have a whole pile of left to achieve, I suppose. And geez, if he's gonna have a horse who might do both, like he probably looks like the one who could, like Pauline with the same route, dropping back from the 2.5 mile novice hurdle back to the champion hurdle. It's probably going to be a much stronger division next year, the champion hurdle, which might sway them towards novice chasing. I suppose last time out coming back in their Constitution Hill, probably going back. It's not going to be easy to win a champion hurdle next year. I suppose it's never as easy to win a champion hurdle, but it'll be fascinating to see where they go. And he's a really exciting one. And I suppose the race on Saturday isn't the hottest affair, but it's kind of always good to see a horse like that coming out. Out the rest of them. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see Tara following home. She's been quite keen at times, but they should go on a nice space in this, and I'd say she could follow him home that one. But it'll be a nice one to watch anyway. But is that, I think that's the last. Yeah, we'll cover the RT races on each day. So that's Friday wrapped up from the feature races. Don, I'll ask you for your nap of the day on the Friday.
A lot of short ones in there. I'd say probably best bet at the moment, as I look at them, is maybe Arctic Brazil each way in the MS Copiers and the handicap chase.
Yeah, he looks at he's impressed now, and I'd probably go with Bright Hill in that mare's chase. I'd say she'll be hard enough to beat in these conditions. But we'll go on to Saturday then. The first race we're going to have a look at is Colin Quinn BMW handicap chase, a marathon trip over the 3 mile 7. A few of Willies coming back here after running in the Scottish National on the ropes, tops the weight, sorry. He's got 11-12 under Brian Hayes, who rode in the Scottish National, just getting the rider street here for Willie's runners. So it's interesting to know who Paul is riding on the Saturday. If that final race does come down to the line, Jack won't be riding. So in these handicaps, he takes Clark Kent, who was 4th in the Scottish National. Both ran well there. We have a couple in here as well who ran well in the race last year. Sir Bob was 3rd in it. He's got about £10 since then, but he's in good form so far this year. Won the Cork National early in the year. And History of Fashion was 2nd to own. I think that was all around it. History of Fashion was 3rd and Sir Bob was 2nd last year. But they will come back here to try it again. Do you have a fancy this one, Dan?
Yeah, it's wide open. Normally you start at the bottom of the weights and work your way up. I think 9 of the last 10 winners carry less than 11 stone or less than 10 something. That said, that's the case in the Irish National as well. The intense raffles blew that out of the water. It was a different type of Irish National this year. The weights went all the way down to, I think, 20, whereas normally you need a rating of down into an Irish National. But I thought that it's good to see British runners over here and Tom Lacey's horse Saturday, the 1-3 there in the big full circle race on Tuesday. I think Ben Collins' horse, interesting here about the greatness. He was well beaten last time in the Kim Muir, but he was back in the field early on and he got hampered and he probably wouldn't have been up with the soft ground. He did make a move up over the 4th last and 3rd last, but then his run kind of petered out from the home turn. His run before that at Kempton in the Carl Trophy, the race you see, the Race and Post Chase, I thought that was a really good run. He came on the outside and he looked a likely winner going out to the 2nd last, but he just got in tight to both the 2nd last and the last and forward plan. Anthony Honeyball's horse, he met both those fences really well and stayed on strong and will beat him on the far side. I think Bound to Greatness, there's more to come from him. It's interesting. I think it'd be better on the better ground. And also the step up to almost 4 miles. That might just suit him. He does stay well, and he's a horse who likes to be ridden kind of fairly patiently in behind. He's down to a mark of 130, so he's racing off a mark of 130, which is £3 lower than the mark off which he raced in that Carl Trophy. And yeah, I think he could be interesting in here, stepping up and trip. What about you?
Interesting, yeah. I suppose the English runners they did well on the first day anyway. Nice to get another winner throughout the week. But actually, the top piece of the green was interesting here for Gavin Cron. I thought he was running a massive race in the Ulster National last week. Came down there, well, he don't think Jeff. I don't think he's running a big race before he came down. I think he won at Punchestown normally. I think he actually would have won this race 2 years ago off 5 or 6 pound lower mark. But he's got Conor Stonewalsh on board. To kind of bring it back down to that winning mark, I suppose, in a way. A very good rider, and Garvin's horse is flying. I think he should have won a big race, and I obviously no prices for this, but if he was an Easter, I probably would be fairly interested in him. I mentioned the veteran there, Sir Bob. Look, I suppose he's up £10 on last year, but he's definitely in good form so far this season. We saw him winning a handicap out of Cork the last time out, so he won the Cork Nationals that early on in the year. So I think he'd probably be up in the mix, but I'd give it a big chance to History of Fashion there. Pat Fahey and Richie Condon placed in this, 3rd in this last year, sorry, off a kind of similar-ish kind of market. He might be down the handicap that day. Richie Condon taking off £5. Like you kind of mentioned the weights there. He'd be carrying a nice weight in this kind of marathon trip, which should suit. I thought he ran a nice race in the Irish National last time as well, 5th that day. I'd say probably better ground should suit him better. He's a bit kind of in and out of form. I suppose he's kind of hard to find at a going day. I think he's only won one race under rules And he is a 10-year-old, so probably not one to have your life on. But I think he should run a nice race there. He's waited nicely to do it, and I thought the run on the Irish National was encouraging. Behind kind of a very decent field that day, we kind of saw winners coming out of that one already. So History of Fashion and Peaches and Cream probably be my main fancies in the opening race on the Saturday. But we'll go on to the next race. It's the Mayor's Champion of Hurdle again. Probably one that looks slightly like a procession with a Winnie Mullins likely to be long odds on favourite. With Lossie Mouth, I suppose, look, she's been brilliant so far this year. She won the champion juvenile at Punchestown last year. So that has had a light enough campaign. So coming here fresh from Cheltenham, I can't really see her getting beat on. Can you?
No, like she's got all the boxes ticked. Emma really hasn't she? Like even this 2.5 mile trip suits her better than 2 miles. Now, like she stayed it really well the last time the Mayor's Hurdle. Tell Me Something Girl ran a massive race to chase her home. It's good to see her back to that type of form. It's hard to see her improving enough to get the better of her. Like she's 9 now, lost it's only 5. And there's like live pain. I think Willie Mullins just kept her off from the start. He said a 4-year-old going 5. It's not easy for them, and maybe just leave her off through the early part of the campaign and bring her out with a view to targeting the latter part of the campaign. And sure, she was brilliant in the international hurdle at Cheltenham at the January meeting this year. Astro Diamond, maybe, like she ran no kind of race obviously in the Mayor's Hurdle, but on her Doncaster run the time before that was a really good run, and we probably didn't see the best of her at Cheltenham. She did win the Grade 1 Mayor's Novice Hurdle at Fairyhouse last season. Went over 2.5 miles, and she's a talented mare. Maybe she could be the one to chase her home, but it's hard to knock any kind of case together for how Lossie Mouth won't win.
Yeah, it's very hard to see. I just thought Hispanic Women could do up the forecast there. She's been very good at Punchestown so far this year. She's got the cheek pieces on. Maybe she might want around a bit more testing, but her 2 runs at Punchestown so far, I suppose she kind of surprised Gallimard, so beating her there before Cheltenham, and first time out as well for Henry. She was really impressive that day. I thought she might want a big race, but yeah, can't really see her getting past Lossie Mouth, who should be really hard to beat. An exciting maybe champion hurdle contender for next year, but we'll go on to the next race, another handicap chase over the 3 miles, the Pat Tap handicap chase. Farouk Delenn tops the weights for Gordon Elliott and Kyra Miller. Great to see a few UK challengers in here as well. Tommy CU20's first Irish winner earlier on the week as Cruise Control, and Anthony Honeyball, who does really well at Punchestown, brings over Blackjack Magic under Rick Stingle. Don, what's your fancy here?
Yeah, I as you say, it's great to see English riders coming over and doing well. Interesting, Tom Basie, he did say that he'd been targeting that full circle series final for a little while, and it all worked. He had the first and third tune in the box was good in winning it. And I think his Cruise Control is interesting here. He's a progressive horse. He won at Newcastle on his penultimate run. He got a £6 hike for that, and then he went to Aintree, and he won a race that's normally a really good 3 mile handicap chase. And he got out in front from early. Maybe 1 or 2 of his main ride was underperformed. Like King of Rye Hope was pretty well back, the Dan Skelton horse, and he travelled in rear, which he normally does. He just couldn't get into it. Forward Plan did look like he was going to be a threat when he made ground over the second last fence, but Cruise Control, he found plenty in front. And I think that type of ride and that type of tactic suits Punchestown well. You can get into a rhythm and out in front, even in a 3 mile handicap chase. I think it can be a big asset. He's only had 8 runs over fence. He keeps on going forward. His new British mark is 141. He raced off a mark of 140 here, which it's only £4 higher than his Aintree mark, and that's more than workable. Like he won well at Aintree. He only got home by a length in the end from Sam Brown, but he probably had more in hand than that as well. And yeah, you can see it's like Stan Shepherd rising again. He rode him at Aintree, he rode him at Newcastle, and if he can just get into a rhythm out in front on this kind of goodish ground, which he held as well, then yeah, I think he could run well again for the Raiders.
Here you're hoping for a few English winners, so on Saturday I'm actually with you there as well. Though I like Cruise Control here. Kind of I won't repeat for all the reasons you said, but like you said, kind of being handy in Punchestown suits, and yeah, he's kind of up and coming, I suppose, improving 7-year-old. Yeah, in which their cruise control could give Tom Nates, a nice winner. And yeah, great to see. I'd enjoy seeing them coming over, and hope for more even in the graded races, but nice to see them in the handicaps too. But we'll go on to the next race then. It's the 450. It's a champion 4-year-old hurdle, and I actually thought this was a really interesting contest. A few of these had been to Cheltenham, a few of them didn't, and Cargase, I suppose, might be the standout in here. She was second to a pair of Reed Go Geldings in the Aintree and Cheltenham Grade 1 juvenile hurdles, Majborough and Sergino. Unfortunately, we don't see Sergino or Majborough here. Sorry, I think he's gone out to holidays already, but some other really interesting contenders. And then Nürburgring was, I suppose, an eye catcher. He won in 4 in that triumph hurdle at Cheltenham as well. He's at the sheep. He's on first time. I think he was pulled out of the Aintree kind of last minute. There might have been an issue with him there. But Butler's Secret then as well for Gavin Cromwell. Another really just runner, really impressive winning grade 2 on Irish National Day at Fairyhouse. Donn, cracking contest here. What's your take on it?
Yeah, well, when Majborough beat Cargase at Cheltenham, my initial reaction was Cargase will beat him at Punchestown. That's 4-speed favourite track. Was the fact that Majborough's not here, that's not we're never find out. And she's been basically 880 at that in the meantime. I suppose, as you said, Emma, she sets the standard among the juveniles here that the others have to get up to. But I think Battle Secret, that you mentioned, I think he could be very, very good. Like, he was a really progressive horse on the flat. He only ran 3 times. He won his last 2 for Kieran Murphy, and he was good in winning on very soft ground at Naas. His first run for Gavin Cromwell, he put him into a grade 3 race, the Wing Fair hurdle at Naas, and he won that. And they were kind of toying with whether or not to go to Cheltenham, but they just decided the time fair would come up too quickly after Naas, which, it was only, I think it was only 3 weeks later, maybe, or around about, which was a quick enough turnaround for a horse who hadn't run in over 100 days. Instead they went to Fairyhouse. And he was actually weak in the market before the Fairyhouse race, but he was very good. His jumping was very good. It was an improvement on his Naas run, and he always had a lovely rhythm. And when he asked him to pick up, he picked up from the front. He went and he won impressively. It was only a second run over hurdles, 2 for 2 now over hurdles. And I do think that Cargase sets a standard for all that. There's not a lot between them on official ratings. I think Battle Secret is rated £6 in superior, and he's giving the £7 merit allowance away. But I just think that he can improve again, whereas Cargase, she's been busy enough. Now look, we saw with Mystical Power, and with Dancing City, you can go to Cheltenham at the Aintree and come on to Punchestown and win. For me, it was always a negative if a horse ran at Punchestown or Cheltenham at an Aintree. It was always a kind of just difficult to go and be as good again at Punchestown, but it can be done, obviously. Even Dancing City, both Cheltenham and Aintree races were over 3 miles. But Battle Secret comes in here fresh on an upward curve, and the fact that he jumped well the last 8 Fairyhouse, for me, that was a big positive. The better ground is a wee bit of an unknown. It's all it's
I just would ask you that.
Yeah, that's the unknown for me. But I just think he could be a really exciting horse for next season, all going well. And yeah, I think he'll take the beating here.
Yeah, he could do. You kind of mentioned there the short time between the races. For Cargase, I know a few have done it, but for a 4-year-old filly, I'd imagine it's going to be really hard, and especially she's so hard on herself in the races as well. It'll surely start taking its toll at some stage during the year. Like, I was surprised she ran such a big race in Aintree, to be honest. After being so hard on herself early on, like, you'd think after having a hard race in Cheltenham and then pulling so hard in Aintree, she's obviously really, really tough. When he has done her with a few, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, Butler Seeker was really, really impressed with him as well. I suppose even the fact that Gavin Cromwell was considering taking him to Cheltenham after winning a Naas, there was after making his debut so late on, kind of, I suppose, spoke to how highly they regarded him. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him matching up quite highly with the top grade 1 juvenile hurdle form. I could see him winning this one even on better ground. I don't think it should inconvenience him too much. But we'll go on to the last race at Punchestown. We'll have a chat about before you have a quick chat about the Guineas after, and that is the 525. It's the SPK Trophy Handicap Hurdle, a listed handicap hurdle over 2 mile 4, and this is a cracker, a really competitive 25 runner handicap hurdle. And I'd say probably the pick of the form in here is Waterford Whitford for Henry Bromhead, the choice of Mark Walsh from the GP runners. Look, he was second in the Martin Pipe. That form has been franked since this was Keel Bourbon won very easily in the UK, and then Better Days Ahead placed in a Grade 1 race yesterday at Punchestown. So coming here after America 135, he should be pretty hard to beat, Don, or do you see something else lurking in there?
No, I fully agree with you. I think Monday Park is interesting. Like he's kind of been out of form this season, but his run here last year was a really good run. He beat Spadaan Sar and the two of them pulled well clear. Like he just hasn't gone forward this season, but maybe back at Punchestown and back on better ground. Like he'd been jumping fences, back over hurdles. Then he could be, if he's ignored in the market, then I'll have a little look at him, I think. But Water Whispers, like he's another horse he's very exciting horse for next season. All going well, but all you said there, I agree with all of that. Like the Martin Pipe Hurdle, it's always a race that I pay particular attention to because it's a handicap for positional jockeys, and I think up until now or up until recently, the form of the race have been maybe underrated a wee bit. I don't think it's really underrated anymore. As you say, Peter Morgan was a really impressive winner at Ayr, and it is a big race. Yes, finished second in the County Roundhouse final. So all that, I'm going to score for finish back here. All that, from which horses go out and trip. Unlike, I suppose, Banbridge, and he's now 2 mile race winner over Grade 1 winner over 2 miles twice. But Water Whispers, like he beat Lance Cave early in the season at Ferryhouse as well. And he travelled like a likely winner in the Martin Piper for a long way. He just kind of got run down up the hill and on soft ground in a battle. So on better ground here, that's what suited him. I think he can improve. He's got a handicap rating of 135. I think it would be surprising if he wasn't significantly better than that next season. He could take the Sunridge.
Yeah, for sure. I think he'll be pretty hard to beat. America 135. He should be able to exploit that. You imagine, kind of like you said there, the form that is quite strong. Interesting. I'm just having a look at when we were preparing for this. We didn't have William Mullins jockey bookings, but Paul Tennant doesn't take a ride in this one. I thought Chapeau Slay could be another one in there. Look, I suppose probably was thought of as maybe being a Grade 1 type horse early on in his career. He was quite highly thought of as a bumper horse. Has been, I suppose, getting better over hurdles. Maybe the ground probably wouldn't be totally in his liking. Brian Hastings, the right there. America 132. I think he should be able to run a big race as well. But I think Watford Whisper is definitely the one to beat in this one. But we'll just have a quick chat. Before we wrap up this day, we're going to give our best bets of Saturday at Punchestown as well, Don. So I'll go to you first if you have one.
Yeah, I'll stick with Bottom's Secret. I think he's a big player in the Champion for Old Ireland.
Very good. I'm going to give the UK winner Cruise Control in the 4:15, the Tap Handicap Chase. And we will go on into Newmarket. So we'll just have a quick chat about the two guineas, the 2,000 and the 1,000 guineas on the Saturday and Sunday. Obviously, no declarations yet for the 1,000 guineas, but we'll just have a big chat about it anyway. But to have a look at the post race first, let me just get it up here on the screen. What about that score? I'm actually going over the game for the first time. Going to Newmarket, so I'm looking forward to that one. It's exciting. I suppose the City of Troy, the big talking horse in last year, I think both were the leads were going to be Coonmore was Frankel. Whether that is or not will be remain to be seen. I think Aidan O'Brien has had such a short price support in the Guineas since Airport was Blue, who didn't really live up to the hype, I suppose you could say. But City of Troy, I suppose there isn't really much reason why we should have trained on being quite justified, but it's always a bit of a question mark on. And are you going into this like at this stage?
Well, I suppose you'll stick with it until he's beaten, until you find out otherwise. It's not ever happens. Look, all he did last year, and like at the Curragh on his when he won his first on his race course debut, like Reimer struggled to put him up before he got to the end of the Curragh, and Reimer said he'd never experienced that before. And actually watching it, he thought maybe he might run out of rope. And then at Newmarket, then the next day, he was so good. He came right away to the Pearl Stakes, and then going back to Newmarket and go back to the Rolling Mile and winning the Dewhurst. So he's done everything that you could have asked for him. But yeah, look, I'm always wary of horses going from 2 to 3. Like it's whatever from October to May. It's what 7 months, 7.5 months. that's a significant proportion of their lives. So we just don't know how they have progressed. If his superiority over his rivals that season was down to pure ability or precocity, or what combination, how big a role precocity played in that, and if the others will catch up to him. But look, for now, Emma O'Brien seems to be, delighted with him. Everything. This has always been the plan. He'd never planned to give him a prep run, and that's not the Aidan O'Brien way anyway. Any of his big 3-year-olds, they just go straight from winter to the Guineas and kick on from there. I think Rousselian is interesting. Richard Haddon's, like, he was very good last season in winning the Champagne Stakes at Doncaster. And then he went to France and he was drawn wide in France. I thought he did well to win as well as he did. He did well to cover the ground and make up the ground and go and beat Unquestionable. And then Unquestionable, of course, went out and won the Breeders' Cup, Juvenile Turf, and his next run. So that was a big performance, I thought, by Rousselian. And I think he'll probably, it's good that he's in there as well. And he's a kind of an improving horse who will be a real rival, you would hope, to City of Troy. You've got another speech in there as well for Godolphin, who's 3 for 3 on the all-weather. So, look, it's the Guineas. It's a starting point in the season, and we kind of start there and then kick on into it. But what are your views?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, kind of echo what I thought. It was a little bit of a museum release, like trios you haven't seen most in a long time. Probably developed, I suppose, over the winter. Since the trio campaigns, like City of Troy, I suppose, like you said, they're going to have to be on the train until it stops. They're saying all these things about him, kind of hard not to believe that this stage. She was so impressive as we all radio 125 there. He's well above anything in his field. I'd love to see what he'll do. I think he's a superstar. The platform would follow, but just one hard medium. I got a task force waiting a little bit over right there. Right, he was playing one with it. He's had his first run since the wind up, which might be a little bit of a worry. And maybe a bit of an unknown, I suppose. But I think this should be one nice enough ground that he should be in that area. But I think the form of he's second in the middle of the park was strong enough. He beat your ever twice and DVD boys that day. He's definitely bred to within Guineas. He's very Frankel out of English and French Guineas with our special duty. So I tried to know about him. He's a little bit big. I think he was campaigning mostly over 6 furlongs last year. He's definitely off markedly triple. I think that should suit. Yeah, I would see. I'm not really sure why he's such a big price, but he's one. I'd imagine step up on trip with Susan Women. But I think we're on a nice race, and they're just big prices. Yeah, City of Troy, I think definitely obviously one to beat, and I'm hoping you do it as well as because including one to follow for the rest of the season. But we go on to the 1,000, and then it's a stick up with this because we don't have decorations. But I think we know one thing for sure, we're going to really one day over Brian Bonner, and this one and that will be a lang, I think you know that every hour of the week. It must be, I suppose, a lot of confidence for her chances that, and I know the other fidelity over somewhere it is, just one in each Guineas on that has to be a plus for the gang.
Yeah, like she was the Guineas filly, wasn't she, during the winter, and then she meet with a wee setback early in the season, and I think Aidan said that it's going to be a bit of a rush to get her there. So look, good that she's on track now and that she's there. She was well behind Fallen Angel in the Wildfire Stakes last season, but then she put that behind her and she was very good in winning the Finney's Mile. She stayed on well. Fallen Angel, like, she was good at winning the Wildfire. She always travelled well through the race. I had a look at that race again this morning. You have to go and refresh. I do anyway, refresh remember it is flat races.
Yeah, it's kind of changing from Punchestown to the Guineas as well.
Back and told, and you have to try and remember what they did. But Fallen Angel was very good, and she stayed on well to just get the better of Vesper Tillier. I think Brilliant led, and came up on the outside and took it off for Yeline. Yeline was prominent as well, but look, it obviously wasn't Yeline. Yeline was running. She failed to finish last. But Fallen Angel, she's an interesting filly, obviously. It'd be good if Yeline goes there. Ramatal from France. She's interesting. She's had a run as well. She ran at Deauville in the Prix Imprudence, and she's beaten in that now, but that's not a negative. Generally, French horses coming over to the Guineas, if they have a run, they don't always go and win, and that should set her up for it. Set the Fire as well. That Set the Fire was interesting for Andrew Bully. She ran in that Filly's Mile, and again a little bit of that this morning. She was kind of over on the far side, and she travelled best of all down to the too far to marker. She looked, if you'd stop the race there, you stand and asked who's the most likely to go with it. Set the fire. She kind of hung a wee bit to her left, and she took Shawari with her. And then Yilang was able to switch over towards the far side, and she finished off her race best. But I thought Sea the Fire, I thought she did well. And she's obviously got Newmarket experience over that course, and the better ground, maybe it won't be as big a test of stamina. She'd buy Arabian Queen, or she's out of Arabian, she's supposed to be out of Arabian Queen. Arabian Queen, she's trying a big shock in beating Golden Horn, and was the Dublin International she beat him in, I think. So she's obviously a classy mare. She's a well-bred filly to See the Fire. She only had those 3 runs, but again, we're into guessing to see how they've matured over the winter. But yeah, I think she's an interesting contender in there.
Yeah, sure. I think Bonnie Angel probably is the one with deal that you mentioned her. One of them, I think the form that's pretty off that, but it'd be interesting to see as well how Donn McClean supported Fortuna won, Tom McMahon strapped up there already. 16 to looks pretty big price for her. I suppose the question mark will be the trip. Probably best over 6 furlongs in the UK and Ireland. She did stay in the Wild. She did stay in the Wild in America. She needed half the length there. I think the really the top juvenile fillies, but probably yesterday for Wild. I think where to imagine. Well, I think she did run a nice race. She was third in the Wild there, winning Fallen Angel. And Yilang that day. Like I said, Yilang probably didn't run a race at all. But I think we're pushing it as nice and each way price there, 16 to 1. And there was positive reports from Donn McClean as well last week about her. So I think she should have run a big race. But we'll wrap it up there, and we're probably well over time at this stage. Sorry for keeping you so long, but anyone who's watching the show, make sure to like, subscribe to chat and do it with content. Like I have a bit extra like you did as well. I make sure cameras on TV. But again, Donn, thanks very much for your contributions, and also have an enjoyable end of the national season.